Hey guys, this is Eckhartsladder. Hello and welcome to another Star Wars Squadrons video. So I've only really been focusing heavily on Star Wars Squadrons here for like the past week and a half or so, but it's already became a major part of EcksToo. So if you'd like to see more Star Wars Squadrons content in the future, make sure you subscribe, turn notifications on, and more, because I've got a ton more videos planned before launch, and then once Star Wars Squadrons is actually released to the masses, or there's some sort of open beta, we will be forming a crew of ace pilots to play this game and stream it for you guys basically non-stop, so I hope you enjoy. On a separate note, if you guys haven't already, make sure to check out Charlie's video from yesterday. It's very different, but he covered some of the secrets of Mario 64, including the discovery of Luigi within the game's source file, so that's very interesting. It's about 50 minutes long. He spent a ton of time on it. Go support your boy. Anyway, today I want to sort of ramble about Star Wars Squadrons, and in particular address something that I've seen brought up a lot. Star Wars Squadron has asymmetrical gameplay. The Empire and the New Republic do not play the exact same, and each faction does have some advantages over the other. However, many people have assumed that the Empire is going to get absolutely destroyed in every battle, and that's not the case. And actually, I'd go so far as to say that I might prefer playing the Empire right now in Star Wars Squadrons. So let's talk about it. As a note, I'm sorry you guys have to see the same footage over and over again. We were limited in what we could record. And also note that there will be adjustments to things like balance, but I'm really just talking about the core systems and how the Empire work versus the New Republic. Alright, so right now my favorite ship in the game, bar none, is the Tie Interceptor. It's faster, more maneuverable, and has better acceleration than the A-Wing, and it's almost indescribably fun to play. It's very simple. You get in there, you destroy your enemy, you zip across the battlefield, you find somebody else to shoot, continue. And there's something very different about Imperial ships versus New Republic ones, and that is how power shunting works. Basically, Rebel or New Republic ships have shields, while Imperial ships, aside from the TIE Reaper, do not. Now, in some ways this is certainly a downside. The TIE Interceptor, for example, isn't as great at assaulting capital ships or corvettes head-on, although with extreme speed you can still do strafing runs, whereas an A-Wing in a desperate situation can shunt all of its energy to the shields, put them forward, and at least survive for a couple of seconds. The TIE Interceptor, however, only switches energy between shields and guns. That's literally all you can do. There's two buttons that you use. So it's like you're always flying at extremes unless you equalize power, which I really like. You fly in at full speed, you get behind an enemy, then you put your guns to full charge, you change back to engines, you accelerate extremely quickly, and you leave. It's just very simple. Admittedly, not having the shield does limit some of your tactical options, as I mentioned, but it also streamlines decision making. And I do believe, although I'm not 100% sure on this, that a maxed Imperial ship will have more residual energy in its other component. So if you've got full power to engines, you'll have more in your lasers than would be the case if you had a New Republic ship, just because the energy is being split there in three ways. TIEs also seem more capable of shunting energy quickly, like there's absolutely no delay moving it between systems, where there does feel like there is one for New Republic ships, although I'm not 100% sure whether this is true or not. Another major strike generally held against the Empire is the fact that their ships have less field of view, and that is true. There are occasional cases where in an A-Wing or an X-Wing, you will look across the battlefield. Like if you want to check on the status of an objective, you'll just turn your head to the side. But I find those situations are fairly limited, and you can make up for all of that through the use of smart targeting and your sensors. TIEs also have another interesting feature related to power distribution that the New Republic does not, and that is the shunting of all system power into a single component. So if you're an X-Wing and you want full power to shields, there still is residual power in your engines and in your guns. You'll still be moving, you'll still be shooting, just of course at a lesser clip. However, with the TIEs, you can put all power in a single system, basically allowing you to either zip across the battlefield at full speed faster than any other ship, but rendering your weapons useless, or putting full power to guns and not being able to move very well. So this is something that skilled pilots can definitely use to an extreme advantage. If you're in a shootout with an enemy ship and you put all power to lasers, you have a very good chance of beating them. And in situations like that, movement's not extremely extremely important. Most of what I've said has been directly in reference to the Tie Interceptor, but also applies to the Tie Bomber and the Tie Fighter, and to a lesser extent the Reaper. The Reaper seems to be very similar to the U-Wing. I don't really notice any substantial differences between the two. I will say that I actually enjoy support way more than I thought I would, especially if you can coordinate with your team through communication or through pings. But I'll save some of that for another video. I guess my general point here is that Imperial ships just feel a lot more mobile than their New Republic counterparts. The Rebels do admittedly have shields as a sort of safeguard, and if you're really skillful, you can do some cool things with shield. You can set them fully to back if you're being chased, or you can assault a capital ship with them fully forward. But I think the extra mobility and speed and acceleration given to the TIE fighters, because they don't have shields, presents the possibility of some extremely skilled play. The TIE Interceptor specifically, talking about my favorite ship for probably the last time in this video, is also the best drifter in the game, at least that I got to try. You can do this really cool drift mode that I talked about in prior videos by launching yourself at full speed with the boost feature and then cutting your engines. This allows you to basically freely rotate as you're slowing down. You can use this to cut corners extremely quickly. You can use this to actually turn on an enemy who's following you, and there's just lots of really cool maneuvers that you can use with the drift. In my opinion, the TIEs also have some cooler paint schemes. I mean, there's a friggin' 181st stripe, and there's the red Imperial Guard TIEs, and I also just think that the customization, including the pilot helmets and whatnot, is a lot cooler as well, but maybe that's nitpicking. Anyway, that's all for this video. I know I rambled a bit. My point just generally is that although I don't like the look of Imperial ships as much, I think the A-Wing and the X-Wing and the Y-Wing and the U-Wing blow their Imperial counterparts out the water. However, I still loved getting to play as Imperial fighters, and I actually prefer to play as the Empire right now. However, that's all I've got for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. In the next couple of days, I've got some interesting uploads planned. One will be on advanced techniques that actually work in Starfighter Squadrons as tested by me and others. As an example, if you're being chased by a missile and you manage to gain some distance, it's actually very easy to shoot it down. Have your targeting computer filter out everything but projectiles, spin your ass around, and just start shooting. Sometimes you'll get lucky, and this is particularly useful if you don't have any chaff or countermeasures left. But that's all for now. Until next time, guys, have a good one, and may the Force be with you.